Hello everyone, VegasVic1965, and in this week's video it's going to be on a little bit about command blocks. As you can see behind me, I've had a few people ask me, including one or two in the comments section, could I do something about command blocks? And I'm no expert, I'm no Seth Bling or Logged On 111, but I'm going to do the best I can to give you some examples of a few of those in a minute or two. And without further ado, let's find out. Welcome back everyone, VegasVic1965, and as you can see laid out before you, I've set up a number of different things. I think first probably is to go over what these command blocks are. Now they can do things that you would normally be able to do in let's say for example a chat in creative mode, and they pretty much do something, whatever. Well, you obviously have to have the correct codes to put in, but they will perform a command that you put in that command block so long as you've written it in the correct code. So our first one is a regular command block, and you can get one in creative mode. You cannot get one in survival, and you can get one by typing in there the give command, and you can do at the nearest player. I'm going to go over those in just a moment, the different symbols you see there. But we're going to do me, and you can start. A lot of this will auto-complete for you, as you can see, and I can do command block. Now if I put a number behind it, as you see count, I can do 64, I can do 2, I can do 1. I'm just going to do 1. That's all we really need. So we'll do command block, and there it is. Now you might be wondering, how do you get the other colored ones? Sometimes they're explained in some of these videos, sometimes they're not. But basically what it is you're changing the way this command block works, whether it's an impulse command, which needs redstone, for example, or always active. And that basically means you stick a redstone block next to it, or a button, or a pressure plate, or some redstone line to it, and a lever. Then when you activate it, it will perform whatever command that you have set up in that command block. That's an impulse. You might be able to see it behind, and it's a little shaded, but you'll see it change. If you change that to a chain block, a chain command block, it will change to the color green. So if we click done, there it is, green. Now going in, looking at the repeat one, you can see it hasn't changed yet, but that will change to purple. So that's how you get those three. And again, the first one is the impulse command block. The next one, the green one, is the chain command block. And then there's the purple one, which is the repeating command block. And if you notice here, these arrows are a little bit different. Now this first one is one that you can run a command off once you activate it. But the next one will actually require a set of parameters to meet before it actually will activate. And the same thing with the repeat one. Now one thing I want to mention really importantly right now is this repeating command block can be extremely dangerous. It will crash your world if you are not careful with this. A good example would be that you put in there summon pig. What the game will do when you activate that with a redstone block or another contraption is it will summon every second. It'll summon that pig, and before you know it, things are going to get out of hand and your world is going to crash. So you need to be very careful when you use this repeating command block. It's great for scoreboards, and scoreboards may be something I'll go over with in the future. Again, I'm not an expert, as I said. I'm no Seth Bling or so many other people that have those that know about these that are much better than I am. But here's an example. They have plugins that have games built into them, and a lot of them are built already into the code, but you can actually make these games, some of these games yourself. And an example would be like this command block. You could have it set up to where the players can come up, click the button, and they get transferred into a room. And this command block might be set up to transfer them to the game room if it meets a certain set of parameters. As I mentioned, the arrow is different, and it's got a set of parameters that must be met before it will go on to the next one, to make it sound a little simple. So let's say, for example, it's a game. So a player clicks that, like you've got a game central. They click the button for the command. They get sent into the room. The room is then, this command block is going to wait until, if we say, for example, 5 players show up and are in that area for this command block. It will then send you on to the next room, which then all 5 players, once they're ready to go, will start maybe a countdown. And that countdown will lead into the next countdown, which will actually start the game. That's just an example of you can actually make some of these games out of chain command blocks. Now I know this is getting dark, so I might as well come down here and show you, start off over here. I'm going to change this time. Boom. Now I've got a command block set up for a time set, and if we look inside that command block, it's extremely simple. You can, this will just save you some time if, say for example, you're working and you don't want things to change, or you want to change them but you don't want the daylight cycle to stop. But so you can set the time right there, or you can just type it in chat, same thing, and that would be basically time set 1000 T, and that's pretty much early in the morning. As you can see, that's the east. The sun always rises in the east, the positive X, and the north would be positive Z. So I've got some other ones here, but we'll go over those in just a minute. I'll give you a couple examples that we can use these command blocks for. And I have one set down here, and if I would step on this pressure plate, you notice this green terracotta or green concrete down here. Boom, I'm transferred over to this one here. It's a simple teleport command that you can set up in an area if you're making a little world and you have some friends coming over and you would like them to be able to teleport from one place to the other. Say for example, a little game area that you've got set up, or houses in different areas of the world that you've got set up. And that's, whoops, and that's a simple matter of putting in there TP, and you want to use the closest player. That's the at P symbol. And before I go any further, I guess I should back up just a little bit and go over those right over here. The at P, as you saw when we went in there into the command block to look at it, and that will say TP, and you see the symbols down below, the at symbol, the E symbol, entity, player, etc. Well, that's what these are here, and you're going to need those. And again, there's a lot of help on the wiki to help you get different commands. I'm showing you some examples here that you may be able to use. But the at P would be targeting the nearest player. The next one would be targeting a random player, which is the at R symbol. The at A symbol targets all players, which you could probably use in that game chain command. And then you have target all entities. And entities can mean not only just mean animals, pillagers, zombies. There are also things that they drop as well, like if you killed a pig, which I'll show you here in a minute. I don't mean to kill the pig, it's just an example, but it will also kill whatever they dropped as well. So if a pillager dropped his crossbow, you could hit that same command again with kill all entities at, and then it would kill that. But you must be careful how you do that. You want to put, there's a command I'll show you in a minute where it will kill all those around you, but not yourself or any other players. And then you have at S, targets entities that execute commands, or like for example steps on that platform. So you see over here at our teleport area, I just picked this spot right here. Now if I step on this command block on this this pressure plate, it will teleport me to these coordinates, which, who knows, maybe in a world, it may be a nice house up in the mountains that I like. So by stepping on that, boom, we're transferred over to this one here. And of course that one has the same thing, TP, the nearest player, to these coordinates. Now something you can do is, in this one here, they have what's called tildes. Now the tildes are, as you see here, for example, I want to keep the same Z coordinate or the X coordinate and the same Y level, the height, but I want to go 20 blocks in the Z coordinates ahead. So you could do TP, the closest player, tilde, tilde, and then 20. So if we did that, that just teleported us 20 blocks into the future, which again can be used by that chain command over there to send players to a certain set of coordinates. Here's another one. If I were to click this button, oh, the game has just given me 10 beef. And you can put whatever number you want in there. And that's under the give command. The give command at a random player, for example, and then you can pick, when you start typing in Minecraft, and I'll show you what I mean here in a moment. Once you get to this point and you get to the next one, you start typing Minecraft, it will also start auto-populating for you, so you can actually type in anything else that you might want in there for that command block in case a player comes up. So if you wanted, let's say, fish, for example. So let's go for some salmon. And there's salmon right there. So you take salmon, and if you want to give them, let's say, 10, there's also cooked salmon, but this is just an example. You could give them 10 salmon. Then you save that, and when you press the button this time, there you go. So if you want to set up a food locker for some friends or players that you have, there's a good way to do it. Again, there's the command. All right, so let's move on. I've gone over those. I've gone over these. The next step, let me get rid of this stuff. Next step, time set. Now, you can do time sets pretty easily just by typing them in chat. But you can also set up command blocks in case you're out working somewhere and you want time to revolve. But let's say, for example, what you're doing right now, you don't. You can set up a couple command blocks to do that for you instead of typing it out each time. And here you can see time set, and now I have it as set as time. There's different variations. There's day, but if you're just trying to set the time, the T is the one you're going to want to use. And here's the example. You see, so you set up, it's got day, night, noon, but there are different tick times that you can also put in there for yourself. So if let's choose 14,000, which is also in the evening. There's day, and we're going to pick T for time. Done. If we click this, oh, it's nighttime. And we're going to start getting entities out here. But thank God I'm in creative, right? Come back over here again. I have another time block set up that we talked about, and I've got it set it for early morning. You'll see that the sun will rise once I click it where the moon is now. Boom, there it is. Another one here, weather clear. Now you can set this for whatever you want, but the duration is you can do 7 digits here. In case you are working or doing some sort of tutorial and you're tired of being bothered by the weather, you can clear the weather up. And you can clear it by number of days. You can either just leave the duration out, and every time it rains, come back and click it, or you can set it up like this, which will be several days. So a lot of ticks there. Okay, so here's weather rain. A lot of these, like I say, can be typed in, or if you're tired of typing them in, you can set them up in a command block. And if you notice here, in chat, if you do this, you must use that slash symbol. But in the command block console, you do not need that slash. So if we wanted weather rain, oh, we're getting some rain. If we wanted, we could clear that up. And it's clearing up. Say we wanted some thunder. Maybe we wanted some charged creepers with our trident. You may or may not hear it in the background because I have my volume turned down, but we will get some lightning strikes. Ah, you see some of the light. All right, let's go back and clear this up. Again, if you wanted to write down any of these and use them, just feel free to pause the video. This one is an experienced one. So for example, you're doing a tutorial or you're showing somebody something about how many levels it takes to do this or that, then you can give yourself levels here. Now I obviously would need to be in survival, so hopefully that we won't get killed. So let me go over here and take care of something first. There we go. I'll go over that in a minute. So let me go into survival. Tab down to survival, and if you see, I currently have 2 levels. If I press this button, it gives me 10 experience, but here's one that gives me 10 levels. Here's one that takes 10 levels away. So let's take a look at those commands in case you want those set up for somewhere. Oops, I forgot. Can't do that, can I? You must be in creative to do these. So we go back and we take a look at these in case you want to know what they are. The console command is xb add at, and that would be the nearest player, or you can put your name in there. It will auto-populate, and I'll show you. See, if you're doing this, your name will also pop in there. And you can do random players if you wanted with that one. You do yourself. And I think we have it set up as a random player. And of course the amount. And I think that was 10 XP. Yeah, that's good. Done. So, and the same thing with this one here, only in this one we put in levels. So if we'll take a look at that, and then we'll go back and look at the other one. This one we just had the 10. Now if we wanted to do levels, points, we start typing that, and we can auto complete that, and then click on done, and that'll save that in that command. But we don't need it in that one. And of course, this one over here, which takes away levels, it's not delete. It's basically the same thing, only you're going to use a negative symbol in there to remove the levels. Anyway, so that's those. If you need them, pause the video. Let's go take a look at the next command block that we have set up. Set block command. Now this set block command, you can pick the coordinates that you want the blocks to be. Let's say, for example, you were in a creative world and you wanted to build something up in the air, but you did not want to build all the way from the ground up to get to it. You could do these if you wanted on this particular spot. You could do set block, tilde, we talked about that earlier, and then tilde again for the y coordinate. Remember, this is x, this is y, and this number here just past the tilde is saying, for example, we are on 64 currently. You wanted to move it positive or up 5 blocks from that 64, and then of course we want the same z coordinates, and then of course you pick your block. Now the block ID, you're going to need, once you start typing Minecraft like we have done so far, and then you type in what you're looking for, it should pop up there. You can tab down to it, it'll auto populate, and you'll be all set. Just don't forget to click done. Now notice that I'm doing all of these on regular impulse, which require redstone. So notice there's nothing above me right now, but if we press this one, there's our wool block right there. So if you wanted to go up, let's say 20, come back over here, type in 20, let's save it, click the block, and there it is way up here. And there's your platform, in case you were ever wondering how to do that. Next one. This is a good one here in case you are building something and you needed, let's say, night vision because it was in, I don't know, in a cave or you were under the ocean. These effects that you have here, you can choose the different types of effects, strength, jump boost, there are so many, but you have effect, and that's an effect console command, give, and then of course you can do yourself, or you can do like I have here with the @p, which is random player, and then you can pick whatever one you want. As you get here, you can see as we can scroll through these, there's absorption, bad omen, blindness, dolphin's grace. There are just literally tons of them. And if I don't save this, when we go back in, night vision is still there. So whatever you change it to or put in there, always make sure that you click the done button. So for night vision, if we took a look at this and I used it, for example, you'll see that we get the night vision in the top right corner. So if I come over here and I hit the night, where are we at? The night, there we are, right there. Hit this. You're going to see it doesn't change much. There's the moon, but we have our night vision. Let's set it back there. Okay, let's go back over and take a look. If you need to see that command again for night vision, there it is. It's an effect console command, give, and then of course the nearest player, which of course would be you, unless you have friends that you're playing with either on a LAN server or a realm. You can use that. As long as you're OP, you can do that. Next one we're going to look at is difficulty. Now, difficulty levels, if you were looking at testing something out on your server and you were trying to build something that would work, like an iron farm or a zombie farm or something along those lines, and you were looking at making sure that you didn't have any problems with this specific build before you do it in survival, then you can set these up to make it easier than just typing them out. Difficulty peaceful, we take a look at that. Very simple, and it's the difficulty console command, which you can still type if you wanted to in chat. This just makes it a little quicker for you in case you need to go back and forth while you're building. And then of course you have the difficulty normal, back to, or you can choose any of the others. There's easy, there's hard, there's peaceful, normal. You can choose whatever you like. Not saving that because we're going to keep it on normal. Here we have a new command for you. It's called the summon command. Now again, this summon command, as I mentioned earlier with the repeating blocks, you want to be extremely careful because you will crash your world. If you summon this pillager on a repeating command block 20 times a second, you're going to get a pillager. And eventually you're going to be overrun with pillagers and your game is going to lag you out until it crashes. So be careful with those repeating command blocks. I can't say it enough. So we have summon Minecraft pillager. Now I have here tilde, which is an X coordinate at the same, whatever spot the command block is at. Again, tilde for the same Y level of 64. And I could type that in if I wanted to, but the tilde is easy because that's where I want it. But I want him to be minus 10 blocks. Now, why would it be minus 10 blocks? Well, I'll explain. If I drop him right on this block, it's a possibility he'll smother right in there if he arrives right there. But since the east is this way, and that's positive X, Z is positive in the north direction, so I'm sending it negative 10 blocks and back in the negative Z direction. So he should appear 10 blocks back from 0. So let's take a look and see what happens. And there he is. Same thing with the pig. You can summon a Minecraft pig. Once you start typing Minecraft, you'll get a host of different options that you can choose from on which you'd like to summon. Some of these can be great with command blocks if you're setting up like a little dungeon for your friends. And if they happen to step on a pressure plate as they're going through a doorway, it summons, let's say, 5 or 6 of these pigs or pillagers or whatever mob you happen to put in there. So you can have a little fun with that. Anyway, that's the tag for this one. It's another summon command for your console command. And again, I have tilde, which is the X coordinate of wherever that block is, and another tilde for the Y coordinates, which is whatever that block is at 64, and then minus 10 blocks in the Z coordinates negative going back. So if we click that, we got ourselves a pig. Now, let's say, for example, you are building something and you're getting overwhelmed with all kinds of spawns out there like we had earlier. You'll notice that I clicked something over here, and this is what it was. It's a kill command. It kills all entities. But if you don't want to kill yourself or your friends, then you need this command, which you can see right up here, which is it excludes the exclamation point will exclude whatever you put behind it. So in this case, we want to exclude the players. Hopefully it's not too technical. So we have kill at entities, which is the E. We went over that earlier. Then you type the brackets, type equals, and we don't want the Minecraft players to die. So I put that exclamation, as you can see right there. And then I put Minecraft player. Now you can also kill just a certain type. So if we went back, we could put in villager, for example, Minecraft villager, or just only pillagers. As you can see, it auto-populates for you, so you don't have to complete it, and you can just finish it like that. But we're going to go back, and we're going to, actually I don't have to do that, we just come right back out, and it's saved like this. So where did our guys go to? They disappeared, didn't they? Ah, there's the pillager, and there's the pig. So if we press that button, they die, unfortunately. Sorry, pig, I'm so sorry. That's considered an entity, as I mentioned earlier. Now that, since it's an entity, if you press the button again, the pork chops are gone. Now, there's a number of other things that are also entities, so be careful when you do this. For example, if I put a painting over here, if I can pull one up, I'll give you an example. That is also an entity. So if we were to use this painting on here, ooh, nice skull. But if we were to go over here and press this button, that's also considered an entity, so be careful what you're killing. Okay? Alrighty. Next one. We did summon pig already. We have daylight cycle. So again, if you're out there building or testing something, it might be easier to set up yourself a couple of command blocks to do these for you, so you don't have to keep typing the commands or scrolling through your chat to find the right ones. This way you can set them up. Here's daylight cycle, false, always day. And that's basically a game rule console command. So game rule, now once you start typing this, you'll see that it'll start to, like, there you go, it'll start auto-populating. And you can use this game rule also with other things, like fire tick, if you want to turn fire tick off so it doesn't start burning things down. There's mob loots, there's mob spawning. False would mean that it's not going to happen, and of course true means it does. So we'll do get right back out of it again since I'm not saving it. As you can see, I have game rule do daylight cycle false. How can we use this to our advantage? Well, let's see what the sun is. It's almost high noon. So let's say, for example, I wanted this back at time set 1000, which is probably about, what, 8 in the morning maybe? Hit that. There's the sun. And as you can see, as we hover right there, you'll see the sun is moving steadily up in the sky. But if I hit this button here, daylight cycle false, you'll see that that sun will stay there and not move any longer. You may or may not be familiar. You guys that have been around for a while that already know this, skip ahead. Skip ahead. Those of you that don't, these are little helpful commands. Now here's one for daylight cycle true game right. Now you can easily go back in and change that if you wanted to, but like I said, if you're building or testing, then you may want to have both of these set up to where you can turn them off and on so you have the light you need so it's not constantly cycling through day while you're working. This one here, same thing. It's a game rule console command. Game rule, do daylight cycle true. And again, we go back, you'll see as we go back, there are a lot of other things in here. You can disable raids by putting in false, for example, a fire tick. Same thing that we mentioned earlier. I'll back out of that and we'll save that. Again, whatever you change it to, make sure you always click done and your game rule will be saved. And I can't mention this enough. Be very careful with these blocks here, especially with the summon command. You summon pigs, pillagers, too many of them, and you have it on repeat, your world will crash. I cannot say enough about it. I cannot say enough about it. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video today. It's a short little teaching tool on some of the command blocks and some of the commands that we use here on Minecraft. There's a lot more detail to this, and if you do intend on learning more, there are a lot of great YouTubers out there. Seth Bling, Logged On 111. They get a little more technical, but if you really want to learn more, even in game making, you can set these up. The chain commands are really great. There's a lot of different things you can do with that. Anyway, you need to check those out. I'll see if I can't do some more on these, but I am no Seth Bling or Logged On 111, as I mentioned earlier. Those guys are really phenomenal with their programming. I'm old school. I'm back in Fortran and COBOL. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you would like to see future videos, click the subscribe button. I put out videos every Wednesday. You usually get them done Wednesday evening, have them edited and out by early Thursday morning. I hope this was helpful. I hope you could use some of these commands in your worlds. And remember, you can only do this in creative, but then once you're all set, you can set yourself up in survival for your friends and you to enjoy these command blocks. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. You have a great day, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.